Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about primary gastric lymphoma 2019 W. These are all previous questions. New concepts in the diagnosis of marked lymphoma, which was asked in 2015 and 2013. Primary gastric lymphomas. Write in detail about malignant lymphoma of mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. Diagnosis and therapy of gastrointestinal marked lymphoma. So for the diagnosis and therapy, you can refer recent advances, histopathology 23, 135 page. To this you can add 2019 WHO update. So the most important question is marked lymphoma. So I am the lecture for marked lymphoma. In this lecture, we are going to see about primary gastric lymphomas, obviously which includes again marked lymphoma. So you start with definition. Primary lymphoma of digestive system. It's nothing but extranodal lymphoma arising in a specific site of digestive system with bulk of the disease localized to the site with or without regional lymph node involvement. Okay. So GIT is the most common extranodal site for lymphomas. So you can remember it easily. Primary lymphoma of the digestive system is nothing but extranodal lymphoma arising in a specific site of digestive system with bulk of the disease should be localized to the particular site. Lymph node involvement may or may not be present. Coming to the site, extranodal lymphoma, GIT is the most common site, in which again stomach is the most common site, followed by small intestine and large intestine. Skin is the second most common site for extranodal lymphoma. So you have to write classification of primary gastric lymphoma. Primary hematolymphoid neoplasms of the digestive tract can be easily remembered as B cell lymphomas, T cell and NK cell lymphoma and others. So if primary gastric lymphomas is a question for you in your exam, then you can write one B cell lymphoma, about one T cell lymphoma and any one lymphoma from others category. That will be sufficient. Under B cell lymphomas, you have 8 entities. DLBCL, extranodal marginal zone lymphoma, which is nothing but marginal lymphoma, follicular lymphoma, duodenal type follicular lymphoma, mantle cell lymphoma, Burkitt lymphoma, plasmablastic lymphoma, PTLD. So it's very easy. Among B cell lymphomas, you will be definitely knowing follicular lymphoma. You can also remember duodenal type follicular lymphoma. Mantle cell lymphoma, Burkitt lymphoma, these are all common things which you will be reading. DLBCL, which is an aggressive lymphoma, and Malt lymphoma, of course, is an important question for you. So you can also remember if you want to plasmablastic lymphoma and PTLD. Under T cell and NK cell lymphomas, you have 5 entities. So you remember intestinal T cell lymphoma (INOS), indolent T cell lymphoproliferative disorder of GIT together. Okay, intestinal T cell lymphoma (INOS), indolent T cell lymphoproliferative disorder of GIT. Now you can remember enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma. Actually, it's my favorite because it's very easy. can write about enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma under T cell and NK cell lymphoma category. If primary gastric lymphoma is your essay. Then another E, extranodal NK T cell lymphoma nasal type. So intestinal T cell lymphoma involves indolent T cell LPD of G80, both I's and both E's. Okay, enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma, extranodal NKR T cell lymphoma nasal type. So what is left? Monomorphic epitheliotrophic intestinal T cell lymphoma. You can leave it if it is very difficult for you. Just remember 2 I's and 2 E's in T cell and NK cell lymphoma. Basically, this others category includes all dendritic cell neoplasms along with systemic mastocytosis. Again, to simplify, you can remember follicular dendritic cell sarcoma, follicular dendritic cell sarcoma and EBV positive inflammatory follicular dendritic cell sarcoma. Langerhans cell histiocytosis, histiocytic sarcoma. Okay, these are also histiocytic disorders. So, follicular dendritic cell lesions are these two. Langerhans cell histiocytosis, histiocytic sarcoma. These four are dendritic cell neoplasms. Systemic mastocytosis, if you can remember, you can write. So, whatever you remember, Langerhans cell histiocytosis is the most favorite thing for all postgraduates. So, you can write about it under this category. If primary gastric lymphoma is your question. Under B cell lymphomas, you can write about small lymphoma that I will be sharing in another video. Now, I am going to tell you about T cell or NK cell lymphomas of digestive tract, under which enteropathy associated with lymphoma you can write. If you want other types, you can mention, but this is very interesting actually. Enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma. It's an intestinal T cell lymphoma derived from intraepithelial lymphocytes, which occurs in individuals with celiac disease. Okay. So, it's an intestinal T cell lymphoma basically. It arises from intraepithelial lymphocytes, which are usually seen in the patients of celiac disease. Jejunum is the most common site. Dissemination can occur to abdominal lymph nodes, bone marrow, lung, liver in around 10 to 20% of cases. %50 of the patients with enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma presents with acute abdomen due to small bowel perforation. As I said in the definition, there is strong association with celiac disease. Coming to the pathogenesis, the patients with active celiac disease, we know that there will be gliadin peptide mediated enterocyte damage, because of which there will be more of interleukin 15 production, which in turn activates perforin and granzyme. So, it stimulates cytotoxic intraepithelial lymphocytes. So, it started with gliadin peptide mediated enterocyte damage, which in turn results in more of interleukin 15 production, which activates perforin and granzyme. Finally, cytotoxic intraepithelial lymphocytes are activated. So, increased cytotoxic intraepithelial lymphocytes, they cause epithelial destruction, which in turn causes DNA damage, acquisition of genomic alteration, which inhibits intraepithelial lymphocyte apoptosis. So, clonal expansion of IELs occur, which eventually progress to enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma. Coming to the gross pathology, the lesion will be multifocal, circumferential, and usually presents as ulcers, ulcerated nodules, plaques, or in 2010 WHO used to have a lot of confusion about this entity, enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma. There were types like type 1, type 2 and the differences and all. Now you can just remember enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma, and you can write as I mentioning here under these headings. So under light microscopy you have to remember 3 points. Pleomorphic medium to large cells will be seen in a background of histiocytes, eosinophils, lymphocytes, plasma cells, which usually obscures the tumor cells. Intraepithelial spread is very much striking. Adjacent mucosa shows villus atrophy, crypt hyperplasia, intraepithelial lymphocytosis. All these features suggest the celiac disease. Okay, so celiac disease, adjacent to it will have tumor. Tumor cells are pleomorphic, medium to large, and the background shows histiocytes, eosinophils, lymphocytes, plasma cells. CD3, CD7, CD103 are positive, CD5, CD4, CD8 and CD56 are negative. Cytotoxic markers will be positive because we have seen that there will be lot of the enzymes and perforins production. So cytotoxic markers will be positive. Enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma carries poor prognosis because of its multifocality and high rate of recurrence, both intestinal and extraintestinal, and poor nutrition because of celiac disease. Thank you. I hope you understood. Under primary gastric lymphomas, you have B cell lymphomas, T cell or NK cell lymphomas and others. Under B cell lymphoma, better you read about Mal's lymphoma, which I will be discussing in this video. Under T cell lymphoma, you can write about enteropathy associated T cell lymphoma. Under others category, you can write 1 or 2 points about each. Langerhans cell histiocytosis, systemic mastocytosis, etc. That completes your essay about primary gastric lymphoma.